guys, it's Nikki from Love of Dirt. Today I'm just going to do a bit of a garden tour. I did have grand plans for videos this week, but I'm now on these, so I'm hobbling around. I fell down some stairs and I sprained my ankle pretty badly, but hopefully we'll get back on track soon. But I just thought a quick tour around the garden, show you what's happening in our winter subtropical garden here in southeast Queensland. I haven't been around for the last couple of days because it's been too painful to get around. So I think things are going to need a bit of water, things are going to need a bit of love, things are going to be a bit overgrown, and but we'll see how things are going. So the goal for the next few weeks is really to gear up for our spring growing season. So sort of beyond December, it's pretty hard to grow much well, other than sweet potatoes, maybe corn, snake beans, a few other sort of tropical plants, but that's when we really wind back the garden. So we'll get another really good sort of annual traditional veggies kind of crops in spring, before we kind of just take our foot off the throttle, so to speak. So anyway, let's go have a look. So we'll start out here in the back garden. So this is where we have sort of our main annual crops, the production zone, I guess you could say. Still not finished. We want to get some more gardens up that side, more where I've got my compost happening, and then also here. So I've got just got a fruit salad tree, so a multi-grafted stone fruit tree for my birthday. Still haven't decided where I'm going to put it, but that's where it is at the moment. I've just upgraded the pot, given it a bit of love. It's flowering. I'll pick off those flowers, and then again, once it goes in the ground, when it gets its final location, I'll pick them off again. But yeah, so lots of plans for here, just not enough time, resources to do it. But let's go to this first bed here, which is sort of a mix of plantings from initially from March. So we've got the cauliflower still going, we've got carrots still going, we've got sugar snaps up the back here still going, but we've replanted along, so you can sort of see there's some up there that are growing. So I've done another line of those last month, or this month. The broccoli I've just left for side shoots because they're really prolific. So I've cut the main head off these green magic ones, and we're just getting side shoots now. That side shoot is actually really massive. Yeah, and I've just interplanted some more things because once these collies are done, I will pull them out. I won't do any side shoots. I don't think cauliflower side shoots are as good as broccoli ones, and I'd rather the space. And we've got a friend. Best investment for my garden has been this this Birdbath. I don't have problems with grasshoppers anymore. I've got butcher birds that come in. I've got noisy miners. I know a lot of people hate noisy miners, but I've seen them eat massive grasshoppers, and yeah, it's been so good for my garden. We get rainbow lorikeets, we get magpies, we get all sorts of birds, king parrots. Anyway, in suburbia, it's amazing to have that. Anyway, moving to this next bed here. So this one's planted out in May. We've already harvested all our cauliflowers. They were the 60-day variety, so a lot quicker than the snowball ones that are over here. Also a lot smaller in size, like sort of tennis ball size cauliflower heads. So we've got fennel here that we've been harvesting from. I've pulled out all of my radish, and we're going again with another row of radish next to our carrots. And up here we've got our giant Yakumo, I think that's how you say it, snow peas. So they have beautiful purple flowers, just like the purple potted peas, but their snow peas are massive. I'll find one in a sec for you guys. So there's a massive one right there. She's huge. She's ready to come down. It's a bit hard to see. So yeah, we've got the Dachikio broccoli, small head, really good for side shoots. We'll chop those little heads off. See how they're sort of kind of loose? We'll chop that off, and then we'll get sort of in all of the little sort of, I guess they're called crutches. You'll get the side shoots. But yeah, we've been pulling out lots of lettuce from here. I've got lettuce on like nothing else. But yeah, lots of lettuce, radish, lots of rocket from there, and the fennel is just, we cut one off and another one sprouts. It's just been amazing. Okay, so this is the bed that we planted out in June. So we've got broccoli sprouting, the cauliflowers obviously are a little bit too slow, some tatsoi, some carrots, some potted peas up the back. So this bed is actually a problem bed, simply because we've got in the park over here these big trees, all of their roots come into this garden bed. So what I did was I pulled all the soil out, not the last planting, not this planting, but the planting before. I pulled all the soil out and I laid some root blocker under here. When we got all of that rain, it was a bit of a problem because the drainage wasn't working that well, but nutrient wise, I haven't had to top up this bed, and that was probably water and nutrients was the main issues with the tree roots getting in here. So yeah, it's doing pretty well since doing that. I'd like to, at some point, maybe when this bed's finished, clear it out again and just see, or at least dig down a bit, and see how that root blocker is actually holding up, if the roots are coming up the sides, or because it wasn't a seamless piece as well, I had to layer, so whether the roots are coming up in through that layer or not. But yeah, this is all the stuff that we've planted out in June last month. And yeah, things are going great. So I've been harvesting spring onions, kale, green mustard, lettuce in here. The peas are just starting to flower. So these are green feast peas, and they're a potted pea. We find that these ones do really well in our climate. They don't get the powdery mildew as much. But yeah, it's a little productive space happening here. So this bed here was originally planted out in, is that April? Yeah, it must have been April. So most things got really savaged by aphids, and I just let them go to try and bring in the ladybugs. The peas are doing magnificent. So these are the purple potted peas, so I'm just leaving those to fully dry out. I've still got the peanut, which was planted back in November. Still hasn't died back. We'll see what it produces, but I'm just this is my next bed that I'm going to sort of top up and replant out in August. So here I'll probably put some corn, and I'll put some cucumbers in. Lettuce and beans probably will be what goes in here, but I do have to wait for these guys, so it may be sort of late August by the time I get this one planted out. So these are our perennial beds sort of around the fence line. We've got asparagus, which is doing some weird things like sprouting in winter. It hasn't actually died back fully over there. So we'll see what it does. That one there has actually, it's like second year. It's been producing some really thick stems, which is good. We've got another one on this side, which is a bit light, but we've got some perennial spinaches there. We've got the Brazilian spinach, there's some society garlic and some sorrel in there as well. And then the Madagascan bean. So I chopped back the one over there a couple of months ago, and I sort of let this one go. It was a bit younger. So yeah, it's starting to flower now. Over here we've got the red stemmed Malabar spinach, which is going to seed right now. If I get in a little bit closer, this is how we collect the seeds here. It's really time. We wait until they really dry up on the stems. Yeah, so these are great as a spinach alternative in our humid climate, but they are really thick. So if you're not a texture person and you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit more like a spinach, I'd highly recommend the Brazilian spinaches, or even the other perennial the Japanese Aquaponics, I can't even say it, spinaches over this one, but it is so pretty. And these little berries, you can use them for dyeing, because basically if you put them off, I'm going to get this all over me now, but it produces this. These ones are a bit dry because they've been drying out, but it does have this dye in it. So if you're looking for a natural food colouring, that's an option. Actually, I realised I don't normally show the Veg Pod, but this is our Veg Pod. At the moment we've got garlic and strawberries on this side. On the other side there's a huge, excuse my dog, she's barking at her shadows. We've got a huge eggplant and a capsicum and a couple of French onions in there. I think there's also, yeah, there's a jalapeno over there, so a bit of variety in this one. Something's digging in it. It's close to the fence. It could be stray cats, I'm not sure. Could be my own cat, I'm not sure. So I need to put a cover over it again. Our Veg Pod covers have disintegrated. So we probably need to decide if we're going to keep this, and if so, get a new net for it, because it is helpful having a place where you can actually net off quite easily and be able to pull it on and off as you need it. Child hasn't spotted the raspberries. I feel like these are really early. I'm just going to eat these. I'm not going to yell out to him. But yeah, we've got raspberries on. We only planted this last year, so to get harvest now is pretty cool. The aquaponics is looking fantastic. It always does well over winter. We sort of struggle over summer, but it is looking so good at the moment. We lost a lot to rats. I think I talked about that in the last video, but since then I've sort of just been putting all of my extras in here and it's just really filling out. So let's take a look. So we have got lettuce galore, there's fennel going, there's mustard, so much celery. Yeah, I've been trying out celery to add to the shop, what variety is best, and this one's done really well. Celery is a really tricky one to germinate. If you're not really great with sowing things via seed, these ones can be really tricky because they need light to germinate and the seeds are so tiny, and obviously I over seeded because this is just, it's a celery forest. But yeah, they lasted in the little seedling pots for so long. And you can kind of see the ones that I planted out. See, we've harvested a whole, like normally I just sort of break off this as I need it, but we've harvested whole plants out of here. But you can see this big one over here, and then there's these little ones. So those ones were divided up earlier than these ones. So it's been really good for succession. But these are, I think, the tall Utahs, and they've been great. I do have a bit of aphid issues, just garden wide really, so I've been planting lots of flowers again. I got a bit slack with it, to be honest, but I've just been, as I sort of see aphids coming up, I make sure I'm planting more flowers just to get the beneficials in, especially before spring when the bugs really do come back on. But in here I've got leeks. The Tulsi basil just keeps reappearing. We've got cabbages in here. We've got so much stuff. But yeah, it is going nuts. Like, I chucked some snow pea seeds in to see what they would do, and they're looking great. So the fish are struggling a little bit because it did get quite cold. We have barramundi in the tank. We've got a heater on in there for them. This season has been, it's probably why this garden's doing so well, this season has been particularly cooler than usual for us. Still no frosts, which is great because I can still grow my tomatoes, and my eggplant and capsicums aren't dying, but yeah, it's been a bit cooler, which has been good for these greens. So I got some potatoes in the ground here, well, not the ground, in some bags. I'm growing a variety called White Star, which is not one I've heard of before. It was just the seed that I could get when I saw it. I just grabbed it. It's actually a determinate variety, so you don't hill it. It's just going to grow the tubers, I guess that's what you call them, within the soil that you give it, rather than sort of hilling up. So I've done one per planter box. I've still got about 10 seeds inside that I need to find homes for. But yeah, I just don't have the space. And next to my potatoes, I've got the old tomato bed. I did a video a couple of months ago on it being destroyed by all the rain that we had. I I think there's 3 sort of left. As they've been getting a bit straggly, I've just been pulling them out. I had lots of broccoli seedlings that I just went a little bit crazy with the seeds, so that I may as well get them in while I can grow them. So we've got beans along here. So these are pioneer beans. Behind it there's more celery and lettuce. We've got some peas and all sorts of things in here. But yeah, look, the tomatoes are still, like, they're producing. We're picking probably, I don't know, half a dozen a week, which isn't that great. But, you know, it is what it is. They had a terrible start to the season. Then over here, my new tomatoes, and these are going great. Like, you can see the difference between those poor ones and these ones. So these ones were planted after all of that rain that we had. So I've got a creme, I've got a cherry cocktail, I've got a new variety that I'm trying, which is a Scorpio, so a good one for hot climates. So hopefully, depending on how it goes, I'll save seeds and they'll be in my shop. I've got a brandy wine on the other side. Look, brandy wines, they're kind of a staple, sort of standard tomato, but they don't really do well. So I was going to save the seeds for them, but it's not really kicked into gear, so I'm not sure I'll even bother with them. But in here I've got my radish going to seed. So I did a video a couple of weeks ago about my radish harvest. So those that turned into monsters, like, check them out. So I'm letting those go to seed, and then I've got lots of beans in here. So I've got another variety of green bean that I'm trying. So these are kind of my experimental beds for our climate, which is called a Simba. Simba is just a green bush bean. It's very, very healthy and happy. But yeah, she's... Get out of my way, cauliflower. Yeah, we're harvesting from that, which is great. Up the other end, I've got the Cherokee waxes, the yellow beans. All along here, more cauliflower, because I had them and needed space, needed to put them somewhere. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out these Scorpio tomatoes, see if they taste good, pass the test. But yeah, that's our little experimental beds. I'm really hating the look of this area. This is actually in our front garden. We turned our little birdie beds into big monsters, but they just look so hideous, and I don't know what to do. Give me some suggestions, guys, on how I can make these look a bit better. I was going to get more edging for them to tidy them up. Obviously they've dropped down heaps because we did a lasagna method just to fill them. I prefer the wood look, and I guess we'll see how they go over summer. We will really need to top it up so they don't get too hot and burr, or just, you know, things don't grow because it's too hot. But yeah, I don't know, we'll keep working on it. Also, I should note, I'm trying a new method of tomato trellising. I've just got basically a star picket with a bit of conduit, T-section, curtain rod, and I'm using these tomahawks to do a lower and lean method. The plan was to only let 1 litre grow for these, because they're all indeterminate varieties. But COVID hit, and this one ended up with 3 litres, the crim here, so it's got 3 off the one plant. But they were too big for me to chop off. It would have just probably killed the plant. And the other one over there, the Scorpio, ended up going to 2. So I've got the cherry tomato there, that one, cherry cocktail, it's on the 1. And what you kind of do is, and I'll probably, if you want, I can do a video about this later on when they're a bit more established on how to do it. But basically what happens, I don't know if you've ever, like, obviously if you're watching my videos, you're probably from the subtropics and have problems with humidity and disease with tomatoes and things like that. But the other real problem is that we don't really have an end to the season unless you have a frost. We can grow tomatoes all year round here. So with indeterminate varieties, they grow indeterminately, like they just keep growing. And so, you know, the things like the cages and the trellises, we run out of space. So I thought I'd try this method. which is a lower and lean. Basically, once it gets to the top of the string, you unravel the tomahawk and lower, make sure all of the lower branches you're trimming, and then you sort of move it along as it grows. So it's just another method I'm trying. I like to experiment. Like I said, these are my experimental beds out here. But yeah, I'm just going to see if that's going to give us more success with growing tomatoes over summer. And when we get lots of rain, spring's supposed to be really bad again for us. So we'll see how they go. I did a Florida weave with the ones that we had issues with over here. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Yeah, we are also trying out a couple of new varieties that are more determinate, so more sort of ones that will fit in cages, that are suited to our climate. So we'll try those out and see what varieties are going to be best here for us. So my garlic patch, I kind of don't really want to talk about because it's a bit of a fail this year, which I'm a bit devastated about. Yeah, look, I've got some really good ones up the back there, if you can see. But because we got all that rain, like I think it was just after I planted and we got that 1.5 meters, whatever it was, of rain. And our soil is clay here. These are planted directly in the ground. Like obviously we've topped it up with compost, and it's not super bad, but they've just gone through floods and droughts because then haven't set this up for irrigation when it stopped rain, but it was still really wet underneath and it dried out on top. So we'll see how we go, but I have interplanted some carrots and some beetroots and lettuce, and that's looking all good. Plans for this area, it's kind of, we were gonna knock the house down and rebuild, but now we're sort of thinking, okay, let's not get into stupid amounts of debt. So what we're thinking here is actually finishing up this retaining wall, because this was originally going to be the driveway. So finishing off this retaining wall and getting a few of these kind of market style gardens out the front to just really up our production. Remember, we're only on 700 square meters here, and I'm trying to grow as much food as I can. So yeah, we're talking about putting a retaining wall here, and that will probably give me 3 of these beds like this, which will be great for our sweet potato, because this area is just sweet potatoes in summer. But yeah, if we can extend this and actually do a retaining wall, because what happened was the neighbour just dropped all their fill here. We said yes to a certain amount, and then they dropped it and made this mound, and without asking us, and it's all rubbish. I need to go through and pick out all of the bits of concrete and stuff. We've been slowly doing it. But yeah, that's the plan. And then while I've been sitting with my foot up, I've just been thinking about our verge. And we all hate mowing. What do you reckon, guys? Should I turn this into a bit of a wildflower garden? I was just thinking, like, if I put cardboard and compost down here and just seeded it with flowers, how amazing would it look? Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Should I do it? Should we try and do it? We were going to put some kind of trees out here. I'm a bit reluctant to put any kind of fruiting trees in council areas, simply because, you know, if we move on, no one's going to look after them. So things like myrtles and things like that might be nice though, things that we can actually eat and use. But yeah, I'm thinking more of a pollinator section. Also make the neighbours happy, wouldn't it, right? Anyway, let me know what you think. So I haven't been out here much. This is seed raising land. So I've got some tomatoes sort of getting ready to go. Have no idea where I'm going to put them yet. Cabbages, I have no idea where I'm going to put them yet. Some more tomatoes sort of coming up. These are the ones that we planted maybe a week ago. So yeah, a couple of new varieties that we're trying out. We've got the black cherry tomato. We've got some tiny Tims, which are really good compact determinate varieties if you're growing in a veg pod or some containers. They're a really good one. I keep forgetting to save the seeds for them though, so that's why I'm growing more. We've got some tigerillas, pink tiger, green zebras, a couple new varieties that we are trying out. Some of them we're trying out again after some fails. But yeah, lettuce, some yellow Swiss chard. So these are the seed blocks that we're doing. Someone did say that they did want to see how we do those. So yeah, we've been using them. I think the last two rounds of seedlings have been seed blocks and have done really well, especially when planting back out into the garden. They just go, they just take off. There's no sort of setback with transplantation, which is good. It's just finding the right sort of mix that doesn't sort of disintegrate, and it's really about moisture levels. But this one's doing well so far, but yeah, we'll see how they go. I probably won't do tomatoes in the seed blocks again because I do upgrade their pots. Like those will go to a plastic pot next, like these ones here. So I've got some onions on the go. We've got some dark opal, basil, and lots more tomatoes. So I need to figure out where I'm going to put them. I think we're going to have to build those additional beds. And then it's obviously the issue of finding compost that's good enough in bulk to fill it up. So yeah, if you guys know of any places that does real living compost that you've used to fill raised beds, I would love to know, because I get asked all of the time, and I'm like, I've tried so many places and it all fails. I just have to spend so much time fixing it up. It takes a good few seasons to get growing right. I'm still dealing with one lot of soil that I got from a landscape place, which was great first year. As soon as it got wet though, it turned into clay, and I've been trying to fix it ever since. So you know, that's probably been 2 years now and it's still not the greatest. So yeah, if you know of any places that do in southeast Queensland, preferably North Brisbane area, good living compost, please let me know, because I need it in bulk. I'm just not making enough. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to give us a like and subscribe, and let us know anything you'd like to see from our garden in the future. See you guys.